already know what it is. It's Barbershop Conversations. Hit the subscribe and the like button today.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm ready to go, man.
Okay.
Shit.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Joe Mixon thing. You know what I mean? Because I think that it's important that like they hear more than my voice. You know what I mean? Just a different perspective. You know what I mean? Because I'm a pacifist. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one for like violence and nothing like that. But I do believe it's self defense, though. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but I have a problem with it being a woman. But but I listened to Cynthia G, the video you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's powerful, man. And I never looked at it from the perspective of he was assaulted first. I don't, and it's sad that I was conditioned. Like, when you see a man hit a woman, you instantly blame the man. And when I looked at it a second time, I was like, well, hold up. She assaulted him. She literally assaulted him twice. You know what I mean? And then his instinct kicked in. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I watched your videos and I was like, yeah, you had me on fire and shit. Let's go out and kill something. Nah, but on the real. I just I want my subscribers to know who you are and what you stand for, and you know what I mean, how important your voice is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I appreciate that, but let me make myself very clear on the Joe Mixon situation. I don't believe in committing violence against women. I don't believe in domestic violence one way, shape, or another. I'm a true believer in keep your hands to your damn self.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to be completely honest. A lot of people are just full of shit. They like to play. A lot of people like to play the captain syndrome, the hero syndrome. A lot of these dudes is fake, and I don't buy what they selling. A lot of these dudes is a bunch of clowns that want to try to get on the good side. I don't want to get too graphic, but try to impress a woman to get a little piece. Because a lot of these dudes are not authentic.
Sure.
And the point that I was trying to make on my video is the double standard that go on with these type of incidents.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear as day. That lady put her hands on him first when he was trying to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, people got to understand when those type of situations happen. You're not saying, okay, this is a woman. It was an instant reaction. This dude is a kid. He has kids, and men have quick reactions. They're not thinking about whether this is a woman or a man. They're like, I got to get in defense mode. He was defending himself. See, people don't understand that lady. She didn't want the video to come out. She was the one that did not want this video to come out because it proves clearly that she threw the first blow. Now, I'm not saying the dude should have knocked the shit out of her, but at the same time, she attacked him.
Sure.
She should have been arrested just as well as he was because she threw the first punch. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man. You don't have no more right as a woman to put your hands on a man. And this is where I have a problem with the feminists and these so-called, treat people fair type of movements, because it's like this. If you want to be treated fair, then the fair thing was that she attacked that dude and she should have been arrested. See, nobody is not pointing that out. I've seen a couple of cases where the woman was aggressive towards the man, and then all of a sudden the dude reacts, then they trying to blame it on the dude. And I'm not buying that shit. I felt a couple of years ago when Beyonce's sister attacked Jay-Z. Charges should have been filed on her. See, this is the problem that I have with this stuff and these so-called feminists. They had this certain agenda. It's okay. They want to holler and scream about equality, but then when these type of incidents happen, then they want to holler about, oh, well, I'm a woman, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But then you swear that you want equal rights, you want to be treated as fair as your male counterparts. You cannot have it both ways. And that's the only point that I was trying to make. She shouldn't have hit the dude, and he shouldn't have reacted the way that he reacted. But at the same time, I understand. He was attacked, so he defended himself. It's a clear case of self-defense.
It's a very clear case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I saw too? No matter and this is my assumption, no matter who it would have been me, or whether it had been you, or whether it had been a 300-pound dude, his reaction would have been the same. To me, it looked like that in the video. He just wanted to get the person off of him. And unfortunately enough, it was a woman, and she weighed, I don't know how much she weighed, but she definitely don't have the strength of a man. But I don't think he would have reacted any different because he's so young, and he's a football player full of testosterone, and it's just bad that it had to happen in the public eye. You know what I mean? And she tried to and the irony about this is they tried to polarize him into him being an actual menace when he's in the end the victim. He's the victim. He's literally the victim in this case. You know what I mean? And the media is not painting him out to be that. They're painting him out to be a villain.
Well, we know why that is.
Oh,
yeah, we know why that is. Because it's funny now. Me and you both are aware of the incident that happened with the Mexican guy beating the shit out of a black lady.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny. You've seen the opposite reaction.
Yep.
Now, this dude starts the incident. He provokes her. She comes inside, which I said on my video. She should not have confronted that dude. Mm-hmm. Because at the same time, if she had threw a punch at him and he had hit her, it would have been self-defense.
Sure.
But she walked up to him. She didn't throw a punch, and he just beat the shit out of her.
Yep.
Went outside and started beating her with one of those slippery
signs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just constantly beat her, and then put 15 stitches on her forehead. But when I did that video, and when they showed footage of that, you know what people were saying? Oh, she shouldn't have walked up on him. She got what was coming to her. Oh, okay. So let me get this straight. When a black woman walks up on a non-black person and he hits her, then it's her fault. But if a black dude hits a white woman, then he's an animal, he's a beast, he's all that type of shit. And that's where I draw the line, because it's always a double standard with this type of shit. Mm-hmm. I've been seeing this for a while. You have these people like Stephen A. Smith sitting up cooning and talking about he's outraged and he's disgusted. Okay, well, how come you wasn't disgusted at Josh Brown?
Amen to that.
How come you wasn't disgusted at all them MMA fighters like War Machine, who not only beat the shit out of his girlfriend, broke into her house, beat the shit out of her to where she was disfigured, raped her, attacked her boyfriend? How come you didn't see that same disgust with these people? And how come they weren't talking about that? So, I mean, there's always some imbalance when it comes to these type of situations. And then let's not take away the fact that also that her gay friend called him the N-word. And there were witnesses that said that. So, let me get this straight. It's okay for you. See, this is another issue that I have. Okay, you have the gay dude calling the dude the N-word, and then people don't seem to have a problem with that. Now,
that's
if
a hate crime.
The gay dude, then all of a sudden here you come with this, oh, he's homophobic shit. Because that's another label that they love to put on African American men. Either we're animals, or we're stupid, or we hate gay people, which isn't the case. Because I'm kind of sick of that propaganda too. The whole, you can't respond to anything a gay person says about you or says to you. So it's okay for a gay person to disrespect you and call you out your name, but if you call him out his name, or if he attacks you, then you're homophobic. Yep. It's just too much bullshit that's going on with this stuff. And the reason why I did a video, because I wanted to give people a different perspective. It's not like I said, we're not condoning what happened, but at the same time, you got to remember, the lady put her hands on him. Yep. Let me tell you something, and I got to be completely honest. Let's just say me and you was hanging out, man. Let's just say me and you was hanging out, we at the bar, we drinking. Let's just say Ronda Rousey walks in there. Now, she mad, and she drunk or some shit, and she starts talking shit to us. Okay, well, let me explain something to you. If Ronda Rousey puts her hands on me, I'm not worried about her being a woman. It's going down. I'm going to defend myself. And technically, Ronda Rousey should be arrested if she puts her hands on me, because her hands should be registered weapons. So technically, she would be fair game. And they couldn't play that whole woman shit. And we all know Ronda Rousey likes to put her hands on men. Yeah. Because she's been sitting up threatening Floyd Mayweather for the last year and a half. And also, she wrote in a book that she beat up her boyfriend for allegedly taking pictures of her while she was, naked.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, you see the double standards. This lady walks around here saying she could beat up a man and all that type of stuff, and people think that's funny. But at the same time, people think this is funny. Oh yeah, she'll hurt Floyd and all that type of shit. Now, what if Floyd was to actually take her up on her offer and beat the fuck out of her? Then they'll be saying, oh man, he shouldn't have did that. She's a woman. But everybody is egging this shit on. See, this is what I mean about the double standard. Now, ESPN has been pushing that agenda for the last year, and the other racist outlets. Oh yeah, Ronda Rousey, she'll beat up Floyd Mayweather. You see the hypocrisy in that? They're saying that a woman can beat up a man. They're pushing that agenda. But then they have the audacity to be mad at this young black man for defending himself. And then let's not mention that this so-called victim has a criminal record.
Yeah.
So now, and we know how they love to do that to black men when they get shot by the police, whether they armed or unarmed, or if something happens between a black person and the police. Oh, well, this guy, he had a criminal, he was arrested by, okay, but what did that have to do with him getting shot and he unarmed? You see how they try to, destroy a dude's reputation? They go after that. That's what they do. They try to plead their case. They try to do spin control. And that's what they're doing now. And that's the problem that I have with the media. They're not being fair to this young man. He made a mistake. And then here's the thing. He already paid for it. He was kicked off the team for 2 years?
Yeah.
And now people are saying, well, since this video popped up, he shouldn't be allowed to play. And see, this is another problem that I have, because I'm finna go deep with this. Why is it when black men make mistakes, they do some, whether it be Chris Brown, whether it be just other various incidents, they never let these dudes live it down. They have to bring this shit up every time, every single time they get a chance. But then if a white dude does something, then here comes the bullshit narrative about, hey, how are we going to get better as a race and as a people and as a group if we can't move on? Okay, so I take it, when we do something, never let us forget. But when y'all do something, you know what I'm saying? Hey, fuck it. Let's move on. You see the hypocrisy and the double standards that go
all the
on?
time.
That's the problem that I have.
How about the kid from Stanford? The kid from Stanford gets 6 months, 3 months probation, and 3 months in jail because he raped an unconscious woman. Did you hear about that?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up Brock Turner. Let's go in deep with the Brock Turner situation. Now, keep in mind, Fred, they caught the motherfucker in the act of
red-handed. They held him down. People held him down, waiting for the police to come. Am I right?
Okay, now check this out. They caught him red-handed. Witnesses. He only gets 6 months, but does 3, and then he gets sent back to Ohio. And then the news people, the reporters that try to go to the neighborhood where he lives at, the people come out the residence and said, hey, get out of here. Don't bring that shit to our neighborhood. You worry about the victims.
Yep.
Now, if this dude was in the hood, they'll be in the hood every day fucking with this dude. Okay, like I said, they caught this man red-handed. But then a few months ago, Nate Parker, who tries to put out A Birth of a Nation, which I think was one of the greatest movies that I ever seen produced, they sitting up there trying to crucify him for alleged rape that he was acquitted of by a all-white jury. Keep in mind, he was acquitted. But they want this dude to go on talk show after talk show apologizing. Apologizing for what? I mean, how does that make any kind of sense? But then all of a sudden, you don't want to go after Brock Turner, but then you got all these celebrity feminist groups going after so-called feminist groups like that doofus Lena Dunham and Amy Schumer, going after Nate Parker. So where's the fairness in that? How come they ain't going after Brock Turner? How come they ain't going after that white cop that sat up there and raped all them black women? Okay? Holcloth. I think that's what his name was. I think he was in Ohio. This dude raped multiple black women. But they ain't go after him. You didn't see these feminist groups going after this dude, but then they go after Nate Parker. You see the pattern in this shit?
Yeah, they tried to assassinate Nate Parker. They tried to assassinate, and let's be clear, Birth of a Nation is not just one of the greatest black movies. It's one of the best movies ever. Like you know what I mean? In that genre, it's not just a black film.
And then they destroyed the movie. They basically in which I think Fox themselves sabotaged that movie. I think they leaked out the information about the so-called.
I agree too. They bought it. They bought it to squeeze it. They bought it to squeeze it for sure. I have no doubt in my mind they bought it to squeeze that film. No doubt in my mind.
I mean, they straight sabotaged that movie, man. The movie was a masterpiece. Then, not to mention the shit that was going on where people was actually going to see the movie and they was giving
different ticket
sales to another movie.
Yep.
So it was all kind of shiesty shit about that. But that's the point I'm trying to make, Fred. This man was acquitted, but they still tried to vilify this dude. And he got acquitted by a all-white jury. Go figure.
Yep. And you know what else bothers me too? I know we're jumping to a whole bunch of stuff, but like when white people tell us how we should feel when something happened to us, that literally bothers the living shit out of me. Like when CNN, Anderson Cooper and all them guys say, "Oh, we need to stay calm. This is let justice take place." But when we lean on justice, Walter Scott gets murdered. Nate Parker puts out a masterpiece. You know what I mean? And no matter what side of the fence we're not treated fairly.
Well, that's great that you brought that up, man, because it's sort of like you can't win in this system that we in. We're in the system of white supremacy, and that's funny. The problem that I have with this, Fred, white people only tell black people how to react to a situation. Ooh. They don't do this. They don't do this to the Hispanics. They don't do this to the Indians. They don't do this to the Asians. Because we the only ones that sit up there and listen to this shit. Because we don't have the mental capacity or should I say mental toughness to tell them to basically fuck off. Because I am who I am. Don't come telling me as a black man how to react to a situation. When it's always happening to us. I guarantee you, if black cops went around shooting unarmed white people, they wouldn't have a goddamn job. You could believe that. Because there was an incident in the South somewhere where these two black cops accidentally killed the unarmed white dude. They were charged within 48 hours. But then you have all this thumb twiddling when it comes to guys like Walter Scott. Then you have in the city where it happened in, the city is like 60% black, and they only can find one black juror, and I don't even want to get on that dude. You don't even want me to go in on that dude, what I think of that dude.
Shit, how about the motherfucker that got off with Joe McKnight a couple of weeks ago? Murdered him in broad daylight, assassinated him, and he walks out less than 24 hours in prison, in jail. Not prison, jail.
And then the sheriff had the audacity to tell us to calm down and we shouldn't be upset. Well, first of all, if you constantly got a situation where it's always happening to people that look just like you, you're going to be a little bit pissed, especially if you seeing this constantly going on. And then not to mention the dude that shot Joe McKnight, this dude had police protection that the taxpayers paid for. When he went to the station and explained whatever happened, whatever bullshit excuse he came up with to shoot the dude, when he left to go home, the police department stood guard at his house. Now, that's taxpayers' money that they use, for those man hours.
Sure.
And if that ain't white privilege, I don't know what is. Because I've never heard of a black dude shooting a white dude. And then the police make sure he gets home, take his gun, make sure he gets home, and they say, we're going to stand guard at your house all night. But you're supposed to be a suspect in a murder. Yeah. If you a so-called suspect, you shouldn't be having police guards sitting at your house. That's taxpayers' money that's paying for that overtime or for that manpower. I've never heard of that happening to a black dude. But it happens to this dude. The police flat out try to protect this dude, and then once again you got guys like me and you calling him on their bullshit, and then people had the audacity to question us like we're out of pocket for questioning him.
Yeah.
See, it's this mentality with black people. We supposed to just shut the fuck up, don't question him. It's that slave master mentality. Don't question me, boy.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
do as I say and not as I do mentality.
Yeah. And how about? So, no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say, and how about the white kid that shot up the nine Christians down at that church, and he walks out in a bulletproof vest, and I believe they took him to get something to eat too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Dylan, Dylan Roof.
Yeah,
I've never heard. Yeah, I've never heard of a dude that mass murders people out of a church that get pretty much a treat. I mean, I don't understand the logic in that. This dude, and then here's the thing. Let me ask you this: he was taken alive, and he did it. He committed a hate crime. He told people that he was going to do it, and he was taken alive. But yet, you got dudes that's suspected of selling bootleg CDs. One dude selling Lucy's, and then a dude that had a permit to carry a gun and was trying to show the officer his proof and saying, "Look, I'm going to carefully show you." He ends up getting shot. Yeah. They end up dying. But you got all these incidents with white dudes shooting up movie theaters, shooting up schools, you know, and, you know, guys in Oregon, you know, point guns at the police that are white, but they don't get shot up. And then one more incident. A 14-year-old child in a white kid in Reno, Nevada, Reno, Nevada, went to a school waving a knife. Now, the police officer managed somehow to shoot him in the arm, and they say the kid is going to recover. But instead of him calling him a thug or a criminal or whatever, you know, the labels they love to put on that.
Yeah, that was awful.
They trying to pull, well, what made him do something like this?
Yeah, that helicopter. Remember that white motherfucker in the helicopter? And did you see that clip when the guy was being arrested? They killed him, but he was going back to his car because his car had broken down, and the guy in the helicopter was like, he called him a thug or a demon or a threat or something like that. And I said, the motherfucker was so calm. I'm trying to think of the name of the black man, but.
Yeah, that incident. See, that's what I'm saying. There's always one incident after another. There was just an incident earlier today in Fort Worth, Texas, where a white dude choked a 17-year-old kid. Now, the parents do the right thing the mother do the right thing by trying to call the cops, and the cop is getting an attitude saying that, well, we suspected he littered. And the lady is like, so that makes it okay for him to put his hands. And instead of them, and of course, because they felt that the two sisters, you know, it was a daughter and a mother, they were getting a little bit irate. He manhandles both of them, takes them down instead of arresting the white dude that choked the 17-year-old kid. He gets an attitude with them. And they were talking, and the video is clear as day. They were trying to talk calm and sensible, but as usual, the cop is blowing them off, disrespecting them, and then, of course, he gets pissed off at them because they're basically wondering, like, why won't you arrest this dude? And then these are the same cops that get on the news and say, oh, why don't black people trust us? Why don't black people like us? And they wonder why it's this bad blood between the police and the black community. Because of these incidents. It's always one incident. It seems like it's an incident a week with the cops in the black community. And then when we call them on it, they get mad at us like we out of pocket. And then you always have these silly white people that'll come on your channels and say, oh, that got every excuse in the book why this happened. When it's just a clear case of the police either being an asshole or just being a flat out race soldier. Because, like I say, we live in this era. People still have that mentality. The 1955, when you see a police officer, you're supposed to salute him. Or the white supremacist attitude that, hey, you're not supposed to question me. Look at you. You're black. I'm white. Don't ask me no questions. I guarantee you, Let me and you had choked a 17-year-old white boy.
Jesus.
Not only it's a question of whether me and you would have made it to the station alive.
You're right.
We either would have got the shit beat out of us by the cops, or we would have probably just got shot and they would have made up something like they so greatly do on a regular basis. Oh, I thought he had a gun, so I shot him.
Yeah, I always tell people, do you ever had a conversation of what you do when a cop pull you over? White people don't have that conversation. When me and my boys get pulled over, someone is given a fucking story of what we should do. You know what I'm saying? Like when white people get pulled over, they just pull over to the side. But when we get pulled over, okay, make sure you don't move your hands. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Don't move. You know what I mean? Like it's literally an extreme. It's such an extreme difference in how we're treated and how and more importantly, how we expect to get treated by police officers. You know what I mean? It's just a different approach.
Man, thank you so much for putting that out there, because let me tell you something. I'm so afraid when I run in contact with the police. I'll be thinking, is this my last day on earth? Because that's how scared I am. I am so scared that this cop is going is not accidentally. He going to intentionally blow my brains out and make up some story. Because I'll tell my son how to react when you see a cop, and it's just like you wonder, is this your last day on earth? Because whether you like it or not, these cops are trained to be more aggressive towards black men.
Sure.
And I say, and here's the point that I'm going to make that's very important. I think really they need to analyze these cops where they come from, especially when they want to work in these urban cities. Because a lot of times you get these adrenaline junkie white guy cops that come from these suburban cities where they ain't really had that much interaction with black men. But then they go to these certain places like, okay, as you know, I'm in Oakland, California. A lot of the Oakland PD has had incident after incident with the cops. They got so many incidents to where I can't keep track of them. But here's the problem. They keep bringing these white guys in that's like from these like outside cities like Alamo and Concord and all that stuff. They go out there for the salary. Oakland PD starts you off at $65,000 a year. With the overtime, it's $90,000, maybe even $100,000. So these guys come out here for the money. And here's the thing: when you hire a cop, you should make sure he's at least from the area. And see, that's the problem. You get these white guys that watch Boys in the Hood and Colors and shit, and then they think that's how you supposed to treat all black dudes when you run across them. At the same time, we deserve the same kind of respect. Former Mayor Giuliani is sitting up talking about black people need to respect the police. Well, how about the fucking police respecting us? Respect goes both ways. Just because you pulling me over don't mean you have to treat me like I'm just common trash. Sure. You know, it goes both ways. And that's the problem that these fucking cops don't seem to understand. Okay, I know you a cop and I know you got a badge and a gun. But at the same time, you're not going to belittle me and you're not going to talk to me like I'm less of a person.
Sure.
That's the problem that a lot of us have. You know, maybe if the police showed us respect, they would get respect back.
Sure.
You know, at the end of the day, you still just a man like me. You eat, breathe, and shit and piss just like the next person. The only thing different between me and you got a badge and a gun. And you got the authority to kill me, and more than likely you'll get away with it because you got a badge. And it shouldn't be like that. That's the damn problem. It's a respect thing with these cops. They don't have respect for guys like me and you. And like I say, I fear for my safety every day when I interact with these cops. And then some of these cops, when they pull you over and shit, and then you tell them, hey man, be cool, man, don't shoot me. You know, I'm not going to shoot you. Why would you say something like that? And then you be like, come on, man, don't play that shit, man. You know what's going on. You know, they try to play dumb and shit. So it is what it is. If people wonder if the police know why we have issues with them. The problem is they don't want to accept responsibility and accountability for what they do, for their actions. If the police would man up and just start admitting, hey, we're making mistakes. We're not being fair to some of these black guys in some of these cases. Now, I understand if you shoot at the police, the police try to pull you over, and you shoot at the police, hey, you know what I'm saying? You fair game.
Yep.
But I'm saying, but if you in your car and the dude trying to hand you his license and registration and you panic and shoot the dude and say, I thought he was reaching for a gun, then you should be held accountable, man. Unless you see an actual fucking weapon, then that's when you should draw your gun. But I done seen cases where people have shot at the police and they were still taking a lot. But of course they were white. So, I mean, violence, deadly force should always be a last resort for the police. You shouldn't shoot somebody because you thought they had something. Okay, well, it's like this. If you shoot an unarmed man, then you should lose your badge.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
Because it's like this. You just because you made a mistake don't mean you should get to keep your job. Let me ask you something, man. I mean, at your job, man, if you keep making mistakes, you're going to have your job because, I'm not going to tell people what I do for a living, but I'll just say this. I work in the warehouse industry. I work in the food industry. You think if I send the customer, I keep sending the customer the wrong shit, I'm going to have a job? Let's just say he ordered this much amount of stuff, and then I keep sending him the wrong shit. Well, guess what? He gonna call the warehouse. And he gonna say, "Hey, you keep sending me the wrong shit." And then they're gonna look at me and they're gonna be like, "Why are you not sending this dude the right product? You think I'm gonna You think I'm gonna get to keep my job if I keep making mistakes?" Well, that should apply to a cop. Hey, you shoot an unarmed dude and you don't find no gun, you shouldn't have your badge. It's just that simple. I don't want to hear this stuff about you have to be quick on the draw and stuff. Well, that's the risk you take when you go to the police academy. It's risk and everything. But if you accidentally kill somebody, you should pay for it. Because too many times I see this attitude, well, it's just a black guy. And that's the attitude that the police have. How many incidents have you heard where police have been caught sending out racist tweets or just saying shit like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to do paperwork," and they didn't just kill the dude. They more worried about doing fucking paperwork than the fact they didn't took somebody's life.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
I was an explorer for 4 years. When I was a kid, and they hate going to the thing doing paperwork. Hated it, and they will let a lot of people go, and and not let a lot of people go, depending on the crime. But yeah. They hate sitting in the office doing that paperwork. You're right. You're right about that.
Hey guys, it's your girl Angie. You're watching Barbershop Conversations. Make sure to click the button below to subscribe, like the video. Don't like it, leave a comment. You can also follow me at Angelica Curtis on Instagram. See you soon.